the Essence Talks podcast. Today, we're going to talk about generational voices and what we learn from our mothers. We have chosen to start with the mothers, and then we will have another podcast directed to the fathers, so we won't forget them. The mothers, the voices of the mothers live within us. They have been a part of us, and also by thinking in the inheritance, in the lineage of what we learn from our mothers, and the magic that I love to talk about. It also has taught us about survival. It's taught us about many things. And today we're going to tell a little bit about the stories about how it has impacted our lives, even our grandmothers and older generations, and how we deal with it to heal and get a better comprehension of what we have learned and how to use it in a daily life. So our invitation is to honor our mothers and to reconnect to them and to understand if it's their pain or not. So welcome very much. And with me are Janice and Veronica. Hello,
Hello.
or ladies. Nice to have you here. Well, we'll start by asking reflections about mothers. What are we learn about our mothers that we still have with us today?
Okay, it's a huge topic since our mothers are the first thing that we see. Well, in my case. But I will tell you a bit of my story. I grew up in a boarding school for 10 years, so I didn't really have my mother really close to me. I only spend holidays on weekends sometimes, but still now I live with her. As I was saying, I wasn't really close to my mom. My mom she's Filipina, so the Asian culture is completely different as the Spanish one. We grew up not showing emotions. I grew up not hugging my mom or having a kiss from my mom. That was quite normal. Is quite normal in Asian cultures. So her generation is completely different as mine. I think the hardest and the difficult side was my the first child, and was my sister. So in my case, I didn't really grow up really close to her, but by time I completely understood the culture, and now that I have daughters, I not reverse what I was lacking from my mom, but I educate them consciously with a different language, the language of love. I hug my kids, I kiss them whenever they need me. So what I am doing and I'm trying to do with my kids is to educate them with the love, that I think I lack, but I do accept because it's different generation and different culture. So yeah.
In a way, what I'm hearing is that you're saying that you are doing the opposite. You saw this was missing in my life, and then I want to give something else to my children.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
beautiful. That's beautiful.
I was a bit nervous about thinking about who are you to say this about your mom? Like, I was listening to myself and I'm like, who are you to say this about? This is something. The voice
Yeah.
is like, who are you to say? Oh, you are here to correct them. Oh my god! And I was listening to the voices and I'm like, trying to do. Let me do this podcast, and I got so nervous. Like, okay, calm down. Who is this voice is telling me? Oh my god.
Yeah, I couldn't even answer. I don't know. This is weird, intense energy.
This is how much our mothers affect us. Isn't it interesting? What about you, Veronica?
I can tell you a lot about my family. I come from Poland and I grew up in this cute city in Poland, northeast of Poland. I lived there my whole childhood, and I come from a very happy home. I grew up with two parents and a little sister. I was always feeling very grateful for what I have, and it feels very strange to start digging into that, because there was like a little treasure house where we were happy, and of course there were things that were not perfect, but who am I here to judge my parents? Do you know what I mean? It feels very wrong. And so I'm not here to judge, I'm here to appreciate and respect and maybe talk about some things to help someone else create some thoughts, create some deeper processes. So my mom is a teacher. She teaches, and all the time from when I was little, she was working a lot. And they had this agreement with my dad that she was teaching, he was staying at home, he was taking care of the house and cooking and helping us with the homework, while my mom was working one or two or more jobs in the weekends as well. And but that definitely changed the way I see the gender roles at home. My partner right now has definitely experienced that, and we are talking a lot about it. Yeah, so it's very interesting. So my mom has been there, always present, always for me, but understandably she was tired. She would come home and in the afternoon, in the evening, sometimes earlier, but she would do her best. She would cook and she would be there emotionally for us. Until today, perhaps I didn't think there was anything odd about it. So I'm really looking forward to see where this podcast takes us, to see what's next. And what about you, Yasmin? Do you have something to add?
Yes, I grew up in what I thought it was a very happy family, together with my siblings. And my mom was a stay-home mom, and she was stand up in the morning and help us to the breakfast and the food to school and everything. I am from Venezuela, and I grew up as a Catholic. And I say this because this influenced a lot my life. The religion influenced a lot my life. My grandmother was not a religious person. She was a shaman. Sometimes I didn't understand why mom did what she did. I didn't have a good relationship with my mom. As a child, I did, but I remember one thing that it hangs is like I'm very emotional and I can cry for almost anything. So they would say, oh, now she's the crying one is crying now, right? And that in a way influenced my life, because I thought that emotions were not positive, they were negative. And I tried to hide my emotions for many years. And then later on, I realized that the emotions are the most precious gift I have. That's how I can heal other people. That's how I can work and help through emotions, not only to me, but also with others, helping them with their emotions. So this is something that I remember very much, that I was in a way not being myself because I was the crying one. And I didn't want to be the crying one. I want to be included. I saw how prioritize my other siblings, where my priority was not school, was playing, was writing. I already was writing when I was a child. So I think that sometimes parents can tell us that we're doing something as children that are wrong, when in reality we are not. That's part of what we are and who we are. I also learned a huge amount of things very good from my mom. I learned to cook. I learned to be independent. I learned to see life from different point of view. But sometimes we tend to be with the wounds our parents have created in us. Imagine that I'm going to say this, maybe it's a little bit technical, but I think it's important to say that the ovaries my mom made me with, they were made when she was already in my grandmother's womb. So
Yeah.
that will see that their ovaries from the 1940 something. So all that influences, as we know today, with the epigenetics and with the way my grandmother taught. My mother overprotected me because I was the first girl, and her father believed that she was not his, something that it was completely a lie, because she looked so much like him. And so all these things in a way come in together that affected my life in the way my mom overprotected me for many reasons, even though she thought it was right. I couldn't in a way be myself. If we think about that and our ancestry, our people that have experienced wars and all that stuff, moving, how can that affect us?
I feel like there is a big change between generations, and how it can affect the next generation under. So when I think of my parents, they were the ones born in, late 60s, 70s. Well, it was still in the what we call the communistic times. It was still in it, but it was not as strict and dramatic as were their parents. So their parents experienced poverty. My parents, they were okay. You know, they had jobs, they had support, they were fine. But as you say, what their parents and the way they behaved, I mean, the whole Poland and how Polish people are right now, I'm not going to talk about everyone, but about myself. We have this description of, like, you know, the Polish onion person, which is the person who is going to save up money. And we don't need to save up this money many times. I don't need to go to the shop and compare the prices per kilo. I don't need to do it, but I do it because this is in me. I am the proud Polish saver, saving up the money. And there's a lot of that things coming up. And I don't know if it's from mother or from father or from where. I feel like the epigenetics are mixed. I am such a mix of both of my parents. It's hard to talk about only one. So I'm happy we have another chance to blend in the father. What about you, Janice?
Speaking, I was thinking about this, the generations, you know, I have learned in my house to be this strong, independent. My grandma was a widow, and my mom as well. And my mom has 7 kids plus 3 from my father. We are 10. But I grew up constantly doing, because my mom was constantly doing. And I watch her doing always, working and in a survival mode constantly. So that put me, myself, doing that when I was just a kid, 12 years old. That stopped with my daughter, Ashley. I said, you're not going to be doing, you're going to be you. I have her when I was very young, but I was very conscious when educating her to be herself and not getting the things that we used to get from my mom. Because, you know, I was talking about the language. My mom used a language that her mom probably used the same. She speaks Tagalog, and she call us when we do something clumsy. She call us like stupid in my language, and constantly you're stupid, you're stupid. So it's so important to listen what they are saying, because they don't do it on purpose, but they say that to your child. So I realized when she was with my child, she used to call her stupid, but you know, unconsciously. So I used to tell my child, don't listen to your grandma. You're not stupid. You're super smart, you know? Sorry, I'm getting very emotional. Because this is how you change generations, and this is how you change a human being. You know? And I'm so happy I realized this, you know, because the language can affect you so much, and they didn't believe that. So yeah.
Thank you, Janice. I love the way you express yourself, and that we get emotional. That's part of our parents have such huge influence on us, either if they were there or if they were there. It doesn't matter. The influence is there. And when I was listening you talk, then I was thinking, I did that too. I wanted to do the opposite to my children. I wanted my children to be able to cry or to feel unhappy, and that was okay. And I see now my children are doing even better than I did. And I said, oh, I wish I knew that they're doing today to my grandchildren. They're being wonderful parents, but it starts with that you be aware that this is not what I want. And then I want to do something different. And then you start doing things different. So thank you very much for sharing that.
I wonder, perhaps I'm the only one here without the children. So I feel like I'm doing a lot of work that is going to show later when I have the child. But listening to you ladies, it fills me with hope and pride, because it's not easy to change the programming that we have inside.
Definitely. So awareness is the first thing that we do, we see. I usually say to my clients that we chose our parents. As our soul said, oh, that I want to go to them because they want to teach me something. I want to learn that. And once I learn that, that might be negative or might be very positive. And then I said, okay, this I want, like Janice was telling me. This I don't like, I want to change it for my generations, for my coming generation. And when we do that, then we're doing the spiritual path. We are changing, we understand what is dark or that what we don't like, and we change it into light or what we like. And this is the transformation of the spiritual path. And this is in connection to the essence, because this is what the podcast is about, right? About the essence, about how to connect with the essence. And sometimes the hardest part is recognizing that what we got was not positive at the moment. Later on, we will see that that was a lot of positivism in it, because everything that I've experienced as a woman or as a child, as a girl, that I have healed in myself, then that's what gives me the opportunity to help other women or to help men going into their spiritual path without me accepting the pain and the teaching and afterwards letting the pain away, then I wouldn't be able to help. So this is
Exactly.
very important.
You know, I feel like many times, the way I was looking at how my mom or my parents behaved towards each other affected my capability of creating a relationship too, because I saw them having small fights, big fights, the loving moments, the bad moments, but they were together. They were constantly together and working on it, and they have both different, probably emotional languages. And my mom, she's like a middle child, so she always tried to please everyone in the house, you know, and she was trying to be the silent communicator between me and my sister, me and my dad, the whole dynamics. And that I thought for a long time, I think I also was doing that. I was trying to be the middle person. But it's hard because I'm also my father's daughter and I'm also very emotional. So it doesn't really coexist, you know? So how do you express yourself when you are both emotional but also want to please the room? I'm working on that right now, I suppose.
And I love that you say that, because my next question was, how do we deal with that? How do we deal when we are aware of something is not good and we need to heal it? How do we deal with that?
Wow, this is what is happening into my life. My fear is like I don't like when I hurt people, the people that I love. But there is a saying in English in the UK that like you have to be cruel to be kind, because if you let it pass again and again and over time, and like for example when I just let my mom pass what she does unconsciously, it will affect not just me but my children. So even it's hard for you, you need to be cruel at that moment, because I have a lot of experiences just avoiding that, hurting people, and not being cruel at that moment. You have to make a decision to say, okay, it cannot be too kind, but this is the right thing for you to do it at this moment.
Can you explain to me what do you mean by cruel? In the way you say or do?
Yeah, the things you say on or you do. Sometimes in the UK, especially, people try to just be kind all the time to not offend. So what I was explaining is, even it hurts the person in front of you. You need to stop that pattern. That it doesn't make us good to both of us, you know.
That's
In a way.
cruelty. Does it mean being direct?
Yeah, but it will offend the person in front of you.
But I feel like being direct is very clear communication and you help them more.
Yeah, but then in the UK it's completely they just go, you know, they just
Oh,
avoid that because of
I would be
yes.
the rude one then.
In some cultures, people are very polite. That's it.
Yeah.
I would go more to what Janice said about being polite or beating around the bushes. And I think that we are taught to beat around the bushes, because we
You
might
do.
say, yes, but if I say that, that will offend. And maybe the older generations, maybe younger generations like Veronica are more direct. I don't know.
Yeah,
But I was
definitely.
like, I couldn't tell my mom I don't agree.
Exactly.
Forget it. I remember I stood up once, and it would be more about the fathers, but I answered to my mom in a very rude way. And I don't know where the hand came from, but my father hit me in my face because you're not to answer your mother. Obey your father. Things like, for example, what kind of sentences do you have from your mother? For me, it was like, I was the crying one, and the other one was I had to offer myself for my family and my children, even my life, if I had to protect them. if I need to protect my children and I will die for protecting them, I will do that. But this is so, and this is the offer role. This is the victim. So
Oh, now I think of one. I didn't think of it until now, but my mom would say, "Oh, Veronica, I can't wait to meet your future boyfriend and see how he handles your emotions." And she would call me emotional dragon. And she was like, "Oh, I can't wait to meet this dragon tamer." And then she met him and she was like, "Oh, I'm so happy for you."
what about you, Janice? Did you have a sentence from your mom or your grandmother?
No, I never met my grandmother. I don't have a sentence from my mom, but I have a sentence when I used to tell her. She used to say to me, "No, don't do that. Don't you dare do that because it's not gonna happen." I used to tell her, "Watch me," like all the time. Like, watch me, it's gonna happen. At the end, it happened. So this is why, by the time she believed on what I was doing, because I just show her
So you
because.
were in a way confronting.
Yes, because she was programmed to think the worst out of the worst outcome.
Yeah.
So like, be careful. She was like, always be careful. Don't do it. You're not going to. You're not good enough at. But no, I was like, watch me, mom, watch me. So yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Because
remember-
in a
Oh.
way, it's reclaiming our rights, reclaiming our voices when we're there to talk about these topics. And this is just the top of the iceberg. Well, we have talked here because we can go much deeper, and we will go much deeper later on. And as I said, we will also talk about the father. Veronica, you wanted to say something?
Yes, thank you. Because I remembered one more thing, and that was my grandmother. She would always call me the hypochondriac and easily panic. And I was named to, overreact to everything that happens to my body and to panic with whatever. And actually, I've probably at that time I must have felt unheard, don't you think? And because my grandparents are from the generation you're describing, because my parents are the fresh, the new generation. So, but I spent a lot of time with my grandparents, and dad being like, "Oh, Veronica, you're panicking again. Like, oh, you're so emotional." And with the sicknesses, so many times I thought, yeah, this is not real for me. It's not that bad. I cannot have this pain in my throat. I'm just hypochondriac. How was the word?
Yeah.
Hypochondriac? Like a
Hypochondriac,
hippo?
yeah.
Yeah, I was the hypochondriac.
But that's good that you see, because then and this is important, and I will go to the listeners to invite them to think, what have you learned, or what kind of programming have you learned from your mother that still is awake today? And we have mentioned some things here and how we have healed it. And healing, again, how can we heal these things? Being present, we're going to talk about that next time. Being aware, and then trying to change the patterns that has led you there. So I invite the reader to see what kind of sentences, what kind of programming ideas you have from your mother that still are working and maybe limiting you today.
You know what this is calling for? This is calling for a meditation with that topic. And I wish we could already start our plan with the meditations. There's so many topics to meditate.
Definitely. But
Yes.
it's good that you mention it, because this is something we're planning. We're planning to have a meditation groups. So we will come with more information about it. Thank you for watching. And thank you, Veronica. Thank you, Janice. And we'll see you next time. And the topic will be, we're talking about the fathers. Bye-bye.
Bye.